Time for another board recap podcast. How are you today, Dr. Smith?
Great. It's a beautiful sunny day outside.
It is definitely starting to feel like summer is in the air, and here we are. We are right in the heat of the middle of the season as far as wrapping up a school year. So much excitement and energy in all of our schools, especially high schools with those graduates getting ready.
You bet. So,
And congratulations to you, by the way. I know this past weekend you were honored with an honorary doctorate in addition to the doctorate that you already had from the University of Evansville, your alma mater. So, congratulations.
thank you very much. Have great affinity for the University of Evansville and the great work that they do, and President Petroskavich and everything that they do there. So that was an honor.
Well, not to only be a former student, but I know you've been closely involved with them just as superintendent here with
Yes.
EVSC. So definitely purple is a big part of your life, Dr.
Yes,
Smith.
it is.
So congrats again on that. So
Thank you.
let's take a look at last night's good news, if you will, from the school board meeting. So we had another cause for applause. That's our Employee of the Month recognition that we do, and you were a part of that. I know something that you always enjoy. Caitlin Singleton, she is an instructional assistant at McCutcheonville Elementary, and you could tell she is right in the thick of things at McCutcheonville.
Absolutely. And as we've said numerous times, as soon as that award is announced and you see the smiles on the faces of not only the students, but also the adults, you know you got it right.
And we do have a lot of instructional assistants, classroom assistants, if you will. And while you don't maybe know their names if your child's not in their room as much as maybe you've heard of a teacher, they play a vital
vital,
role
right.
behind the scenes, and just are so much a part of that educator team. In the
Absolutely.
classroom.
Could not do it without them.
Yeah. So congrats to Caitlin. Very well deserved. Last week, you presented your annual State of Our Schools presentation to the Rotary Club and community leaders. So, first of all, congrats on doing that again. That was another very successful presentation. And then last night, what I pulled up as far as recognition and good news was the fact that, and we've done this before, we had student ambassadors from our high schools that were there. I think we had 4 from each of our high schools. We had them sitting at tables throughout the area, the reception area where we had this luncheon, and just an opportunity for our community leaders to get a chance to engage with these seniors. They're so impressive. They look great. They sounded great. And just to hear where they're going next year.
Right. And I think you've said it. This really is our product, if you will.
Absolutely.
After being with us for 13 years. And I could not be prouder of
Right.
those individuals. And I see many of the individuals that are in the honors band and orchestra that I've gotten to know
Sure.
over the years, and working with those groups. And
I also see many we've featured on pictures, athletes, that type of thing,
Yeah.
from their schools.
Just incredible kids. I am so proud of each and every one of them, and just really look forward to what they're going to accomplish in their life.
Just when they walked in that day, they were so mature, so confident, so willing to do whatever we needed them to do. And no offense to them, but I think the term I've used before, they are our new car rolling off the assembly line. And we're certainly proud of that new product.
Yes, we are.
So congrats and thanks to them for being a part of that. Another thing that we're so proud of, once again, last week, we had our what's turned into an annual signing day program. We had over 140 students down here at Old National Events Plaza who signed with 50 business and industry partners. And this is not a job placement organization. This is companies that are investing in these students. They're hiring them. They're going to commit to not only working with them, but if they need additional accreditation, training, schooling, that type of thing. So many smiling faces.
Absolutely. I think we get a lot of things right. Some things we always want to improve,
Sure.
but this is definitely one of the things that I think we've gotten right. When you see the smiles on the faces of the students and their families. And there was a time where, unfortunately, I think people almost felt shamed if they were not going on to college.
Sure.
Well, we know that there is value in every student that the good Lord has put in our path to educate. And this just shows the value that each and every one of our students has. So it is great to celebrate them. And I do think that the number of students that we have that are now entering the armed forces is growing.
Yes.
And phenomenal careers in our U.S. military. So it just, once again, makes me smile with pride, knowing that all the students represented at the opt-in signing are going to invest in themselves and invest in this community.
And so many parents were saying, thank you for recognizing these students, because for many of these students, their income potential, their potential earnings are right there with college graduates, just
Right.
in a different line of work. And as you say many times, we want students to be successful when they leave our
Well, I
doors.
think it's also important to note that there are many individuals in the signing ceremony that will achieve a college degree, and the
Sure.
businesses that they're signing with
Yes.
will pay for that degree.
Absolutely. So then they have no debt as
Right.
they are, starting their lives. So
So this is just another great opportunity afforded to students in this area because of EVSC and our opt-in initiative.
no doubt. Well said. Also, lifted last night that Helfrich Park, they've done this for many, many years. They've had a partnership. You may have formerly known them if you're listening to this as Berry Global. They are now switching their name. They are now Amcor Packaging, and they've had this partnership for many years where students make presentations. They actually go over to Amcor. They've done the research. They've done the work. They make these presentations. It's a great learning opportunity. You've gotten to see it many times in the past.
Yes, I love to see the Gantt chart, project management, all the things that they're exposed to as middle school students that will
Mm.
serve them well.
Right.
And they're presented with a problem, and then they come up with a solution.
Right.
And just great work.
Absolutely. And Helfrich Park's a school you're familiar with since you went there from kindergarten
I
through eighth
did,
grade
and was
a few
blessed to
years ago.
speak at their eighth grade recognition.
There you go. All right, great. North High School really had a lot of success over the weekend. First of all, congratulations to their Indiana Academic Super Bowl math team. They won the Class 1 state championship, which is fantastic. Talk about a lot of preparation to answer those questions. Their fine arts team also advanced to state. Their interdisciplinary team also advanced to state. So kudos to them and all of their hard work.
And I just
Yeah,
want to add
please
that their
add.
math team won with
Yes.
a perfect
Perfect score.
score.
Yes. That is impressive. And for any of us, I know you have too, who have been to academic Super Bowl competitions, the math questions are next level. This is not your everyday math that they're asking about. So extremely impressive. Also, speaking of extremely impressive, their concert band, their wind ensemble, actually qualified for the state concert band state finals through ISMA. 16 schools around the state are taken. They finished eighth, so they finished in the top half of that. Why don't you tell us about that? That's incredible.
Oh, it truly is incredible. I was blessed to be high school band and orchestra director for a number of years, and very fortunate to have 12 groups participate in state finals over those years. And in addition to marching band, and that's difficult just because of the coordination and the financial commitment
Sure.
that everybody has to make. But to be competing against everybody's top band in the state in an open class scenario where they only take 16 out of all of the hundreds and hundreds of bands in the state. I know how difficult that is to do. And so hats off to them. Just did an incredible job
Yes.
and could not be more proud of their efforts
Right. So big
for the
week.
second year in a row.
Yeah, that is really incredible. So, and as you said, people think marching band. That is no small task. We've
It
talked about that
certainly is
many
not.
times. This is almost a hidden gem because people outside the music community may not realize just the level of difficulty
Right.
and what kind of achievement this
Yeah.
was.
They play professional caliber music, collegiate caliber, certainly music, and the sound that they get, they could compete with bands on the university level
Wow.
without any problem.
So impressive. So big weekend for the Huskies. Congrats to them. And I think that takes care of good news. So if you would, Dr. Smith, take us through consent.
I would be happy to. So looking at item 3.02, consideration allowance of payments, this time it was $9,488,279.59. Basically was a one pay period of time. And I think 1.6 million in terms of invoices. Moving on to item 3.03, consideration to approve grant proposals. So there were two grant proposals this time, one to Toyota Community Grant, and then the other to the Indiana Digital Intervention Training and Implementation Grant to IDOE. So the first was to Toyota USA Foundation, and the second was written to the Indiana Department of Education. Next, 3.04, consideration to approve the renewal agreement with Oracle Elevator. So we have actually 25 elevators and lifts in our facility. So This provides for inspection on a quarterly basis, as well as provides for an hourly rate should we need to have any work done on those elevators. And we've been with Oracle for a number of years and appreciate what they do for us. Item 3.05, consideration to approve the right-of-way easement to Centerpoint Energy Indiana South at Washington Middle School. And this is for the installation of lights on those athletic fields. So we have to have the easement to run that electrical service so that we can provide lighting for Bossy softball and baseball. Item 3.06, consideration to approve the renewal of Go Guardian software with Riverside Technology. So this is technology that we use for content filtering and classroom management tools, as well as providing some safety monitoring features. Item 3.07 through 3.09 then are consideration to approve stipends for food service, for extended day staff, as well as for early childhood assistance. All of these are stipends that are earned through attendance and other factors, and they are all three of those employee groups are self-funded through fees that they generate. And then the last item under consideration under consent is 3.10, consideration to approve the First Amendment to the purchase agreement with the Evansville Health Realty 4 LLC, and this is for the purchase of a building formerly known as the former Welborn Building. And more information about that will be forthcoming next month.
Yeah, glad you did that plug. We're looking forward to that. And that takes us then into personnel recommendations.
So those personnel recommendations are there for your perusal. This is the time of year where we list the retirement, so it's a little bit longer than normal.
Every year we say this, you look at those names and you think how many quality educators that have made such a difference in all of our schools for so long. I just look at those names and I think, my goodness, they've been with us for a long time and what an impact they've made.
And I look at those names and it's like, oh my gosh, I bet 3/4 of them I've either taught with or have some kind of professional relationship with them over my 43 years in the district.
And you look at them and you think, I thought they were still in their 30s, but I don't think that's the case, maybe.
I will tell you that for many years now, I have signed retirement letters for individuals that are younger than I am. So it's like, okay. So I figured it was time to join.
There you go.
And then also we approved the new principal at Alfred Park STEM Academy, who will be Austin Chamberlain, and that's exciting.
Yeah, glad to get him back. Former EVSC employee, then worked in another district, and
a grad of Central High School. So
yes, always
very excited. He was in attendance at our board meeting, as was his wife, and you could see the excitement.
Absolutely,
they both had. So
yeah,
happy to have him back. And then Austin Little is going to be the North High School head wrestling coach.
Okay, and then 3 action items from last night.
Yeah, so these remain unchanged from the previous board meeting that was held on April the 28th. And these were presented as information items then. Item 5.01, consideration to award the contract for Scott Elementary School Playground Project of 2025. So that went to Rivertown Construction LLC in the amount of $279,708. We already had the playground equipment purchased earlier, so this is for the installation of that equipment as well as the removal of the current equipment.
And I can never help myself as a former elementary principal. Kudos. That is always such a great addition to an elementary building, doing that renovation.
It certainly is. And, over my 14-year tenure superintendent, those prices have gone up.
Yes.
Considerably, but it's a great investment in our students.
And they are top quality, top safety level.
Right.
Safety standards have changed since people listening to this were in school, and they're accessible for students who may be in a wheelchair, that type of thing. Right. So yeah, they are vast improvements.
And certainly worthy of those improvements. Mm-hmm. Item 5.02, consideration award the contract for the Wrights High School domestic water upgrade project of 2025. So this went to Dyke Brothers Lumber and Construction. They do great work for us, and the amount of this bid was $205,000. And then finally, under action, consideration to approve the agreement with WEX Incorporated, and that was presented by our Chief Human Resource Officer, Michelle Williams. And this is really for the administration of COBRA, both for our retirees, direct billing services, and former employees, so that they can maintain access to health benefits after their active employment ends and before they are eligible to go on Medicare.
Okay. And then only one information item last night.
Yes, 6.01, consideration to award the contract for the Boise High School Enlow Stadium renovations project of 2025. So it looks like the low bidder was Arc Construction Company Incorporated, and in the amount of the base bid of 5.5 million, when you put the alternates in, it would go up to $5.9 million.
And another historic venue here that we certainly take a lot of pride in over at
We
Boise High
certainly do.
School. And then that takes us into last night's continued business. Trustee Chris Kiefer just did a reminder as an update, as he has been doing now for many meetings, about superintendent search, and that is we have a special board meeting that is going to be held next Monday evening at 5:30, and at that time the board will have their hearing on the contract. They will announce their superintendent that they'll be appointing and taking a vote. And for those people wondering who's going to follow in your footsteps after 14 years, that information will be known next Monday evening.
You bet. And that, for those of you that may be listening a little bit later to this podcast, that'll be May 19th
Yes.
of 2025. But exciting times. And I think people will be very pleased with the selection. And I'm really excited to see what EVSC has in store for this great school corporation, and I think it has an even brighter future.
I think you are exactly right about that. Well, between now and the next board meeting, it's time for commencements. Dr. Smith, you'll be on stage handing out, shaking hands with, handing out diplomas, shaking hands with a lot of graduates over 8 ceremonies, and I know you're looking forward to that.
I do look forward to that. You know, this is just a special time of year and somewhat bittersweet. Wednesday of this week, I will be able to congratulate all of our retirees, and I'm always very happy for them. But as I said, a little bit bittersweet to see all of that talent and experience leave, but they have earned their retirement, and I'll be joining that class.
There you go. As have you earned that.
But it's just such a great time. With commencements, we talked about opt-in. We talked about all the other things that our kids get to do that we just assume other districts provide. But I guarantee you, this is a fine school corporation because of all the tremendous opportunities that our students get that are not offered in any other school district, public or private.
Yes.
So the citizens of Vanderbilt County can be proud of their schools and proud of their graduates.
Most definitely. Well said. So that wraps up this podcast. Look forward to those commencements. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thank you. Take care, and God bless.